So hello, I'm Scott Anderson. I'm talking to you from the hill country of Blue Mounds, Wisconsin, which is just outside of Madison, Wisconsin. Previous video was talking a little bit about an overstimulatory practice of yoga can actually make us less resilient, more fragile, and it may look like positive benefit, but really it's becoming less capable, less resilient through the practice of yoga. So if you're looking for your practice to be reliably about cooling your nervous system as opposed to overheating your nervous system, the first thing to keep in mind is to be very cautious, very judicious in the use of deep breathing. We take a look at the 8 limbs of yoga, Ashtanga yoga, and it's very specific that asana and pranayama, they're 2 separate limbs. They're not the same limb. And I think that's an important point to keep in mind, that doing deep breathing in the yoga poses, there's a time and a place for that, for sure. But unless you have a very experienced teacher in really capable guidance, that's a very, very strong precursor to becoming overstimulated in the practice. So you may be thinking, well, I want more energy, I feel sluggish, I want to be stimulated in the practice. Me too, I want to have more energy. But it's very easy when you work with the breathing to actually get overstimulated. And when you're overstimulated, this is a blog posting I wrote a few months ago, what can sometimes happen is your immune system actually becomes less healthy. You can actually start to develop insomnia. And a lot of the things that we actually want to become free from, they actually be created by our yoga practice. So first thing to be cognizant of, if you're doing deep breathing in the yoga poses, best to do it under the guidance of a very experienced teacher. And if you start to notice yourself becoming sensitive to foods, or becoming more sensitive to loud sounds, or lights, or smells, or maybe you're seeing your sleep starting to change, talk to your teacher about it. Other thing to be careful of is the yoga poses historically were done fairly slowly, held for a very long time. It's not how we do it anymore. And not to say that's bad. That seems to be a development that I think has created a lot of positive change. But it also asks us to be very aware and very cognizant, especially if you're doing a very vigorous practice in a lot of heat. That can overheat the nervous system very quickly. So if you're doing a very vigorous practice, a lot of sun salutations, holding the poses for a short time, and especially if you're doing that sort of practice in the heat, you want to be very watchful, very cognizant. Are the changes you're experiencing making you more resilient, making you hardier, more able to be in the world? You're on the right track. But if you're finding that you're becoming more fragile, your world is shrinking, you want to be taking a look at, is this the right practice for you? So I appreciate your time, and thanks for listening. Namaste.